Hey guys, my name is Anthony and in today's video I'm going to be going over TSRL Round 2 at Bahrain. So if you want to see more league racing highlight content, make sure to hit the like button and stick around by subscribing to the channel. So you guys may be wondering, Anthony, you've shown us 2 TSRL highlights but you've not shown us any WOR highlights. Why is that? Well, the reason for that is coming up right about now, and basically in round 2 at Bahrain in WOR, I made a little bit of a mistake, had to dive down the inside of FRA's square, and he didn't get no damage from it, but after that, he acted very immaturely in my opinion. He ended up causing me wing damage, as you guys can see there. That actually caused me wing damage that I had to basically suffer through for most of the race, and then going into lap 21 after a safety car, going into turn 10, it was a big kerfuffle with everyone basically. I ended up getting wing damage, a lot of people ended up getting wing damage from this, and then I had to carry it over to lap 22, which again, FRA square, he goes down the inside in a gap that is clearly not there and just spins me out, which I think is very immature based on a mistake that I made in lap 3. And again, there's more stuff that he did, but I just wanted to keep it short and basically show you the main stuff that particularly ruined my race there. So can't really showcase highlights when, you know, I've got a guy really just diving down my inside, giving me wing damage and stuff like that. So moving on to TSRL. Now this is tier 5, this is the F5 tier. Now since this video, since this live stream, I have since moved up to F3, and the reason for that is because tier 5 is an assist based tier and it's TSRL's quickest. So basically it's the F1 tier for people who use assists. So some of the guys in tier 5 are actually just as quick as some of the guys in tier 1. Only difference is that they use the racing line. Whereas I'm not as quick as some of the guys in tier 1, so you guys maybe have seen me race against some of these guys and they're doing pretty well, they're pretty quick against myself, and it's because they're pretty much as quick as the F1 guys, they just use the racing line. So what happened is I've been moved to F3, and this is the slowest non-assist tier, which I feel as if I'll be a little bit more comfortable in. So I'm going to be streaming the F3 tier of TSRL same time, same day, Friday at 8 PM BST, so make sure to come and stick around and watch the stream if you guys can. But moving over to our quickest lap now, pretty much in Q1. This lap it felt really good. Only problem is it wasn't really good, and that's something I was discussing with some of the guys in the stream. For some reason on this game, well, I say for some reason, it is because it's not a simulated type of game, but on this game, the way you have to drive, even if the lap feels good, it might not actually be good. And this lap, it felt pretty good. It felt as if it was quick enough to actually get me into Q2. However, as you guys are about to see as we come up to the final corner now, it wasn't good enough to get us into Q2. So we actually ended up getting eliminated here in Q1. We come up to the line now, passing the final corner. Honestly, this lap felt like a 0.6, 25.6. It ended up being a 25.9, and a lot of the guys in the tier in this race, they ended up getting 25.9s, and it was very close, and we ended up getting knocked out in Q1, so we had to basically start in 17th place. So as we move on to the beginning now of the race, we basically are going to be doing a hard to medium strategy. So we've got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. We got a pretty decent start compared to Stardust there, which was pretty good, but I think our second phase could have been improved a little bit. But coming up to the first corner, as usual when it comes to league racing, I just wanted to slow the car down, just try and get through the first corner, because honestly, when it comes to league racing, you can easily lose it at the first corner. And as you can see, we ended up getting a warning going on the outside as the Racing Point and the hat, I believe, ended up spinning out going out of turn 2, and we've already got a safety car. So yeah, that pretty much killed the momentum that I thought that I had gathered. And the one thing about my league racing so far is I've been in a slump, and a lot of the time I've ended up ruining my race, whether it's from somebody else's accord or it's from my own accord, right after a safety car. So as soon as this safety car had went in, I just went laser focused, and I was like, okay, first turn, just get the car slowed down, don't try and run into the back of anyone like I have the past couple of times at Australia, I believe in WOR last week or 2 weeks ago now at this point. after a safety car, I ended up running into the back of somebody, and we ended up basically ruining our race. So I just wanted to keep things simple. You know, again, you can always lose the race at the first corner, whereas it takes a lot to win the race, or at least get a decent result. And as we move on to lap 5 now, once again we've got another safety car. So we've had 2 safety cars in 5 laps, so that really killed any momentum that pretty much anybody had at this point. And I was just tired of safety cars at this point. I really just wanted to just get the race started here. But as we move on to lap 9 now, you can see what I actually do is I don't use my overtake, and that's because I just decided to let my teammate go past, because he was on the mediums, he was on the faster compound of tyre, and he was just the faster driver out of us 2 Mercedes. On this hard tyre, I felt as if my pace was abysmal, and I actually felt that my pace on the hard tyres, it was actually crucial to the result that I ended up getting in today's race. So yeah, I'm gonna need to work on my pace around Bahrain on the hard tires, really change up the setup, because I feel as if I just wasn't able to get into the race. As Merkel B ended up subscribing to the channel, so thank you very much for coming to the stream and subscribing whilst I was streaming. But yeah, pretty much when it came to the hard tires, I was struggling, and I was struggling hard. I think I was in maybe 5th place by the time the second safety car had went in, and I just ended up, well actually no, I'm in 5th place now, so I must have been even further up, maybe in 3rd place. And just over the course of my hard stint, I ended up just moving backwards and backwards and backwards. So that's definitely one thing I'm going to improve. And as I said, I have moved into F3 now, so a lot of these guys are actually just as quick as some of the guys in tier 1 in TSRL. The only difference is that they use the racing line, so you know, sometimes it is a little bit hard to keep up with some of them because they are very quick drivers. And it turns out there were a few people in this tier that are no assist drivers, but they were put into this tier, so it was a little bit of a mistake on TSRL's part, but they have fixed it. I think some of the drivers have elected to stay in this tier, but me personally, I decided to move into F3 because I thought that maybe it would be a little bit more comfortable being in F3 surrounded by other drivers with no assists. But coming up to lap 20, and you notice I've still not gone in yet. I'm still on the hard tyres, and there was a new strategy given to me where I should have pitted on lap 20 for the soft compound of tyres. However, I decided to stay out because the people in front of me were staying out. But what I hadn't realised is that these guys had already pit for the hard tyres. I thought that these guys were still the hard tyre runners from the beginning of the race. So by lap 22, I just thought, nope, I can't leave it any later. So I dived into the pits and we went on to the soft tyres. Maybe it would have been a little bit better if I'd went on to the mediums a little bit earlier on in the race. Maybe I could have gained a few more positions than what I did, because as you can see, my teammate is already passing me and we've just come out from getting the soft tyres. So we're quite far behind our own teammates, so there's a lot of ground that we need to work up going into this final couple of laps in this soft stint. And that's exactly what I set out to do pretty much. After this, now that I was on the soft tyres, everyone was either on old hard tyres or old medium tyres, so I used the soft tyres as much to my advantage as possible, as we ended up taking over Rev Caterpillar, I believe, in the Ferrari pretty much the next lap. He was on old hard tyres, so it was pretty much a give and go that I was going to overtake him. And then we move on to the next lap where I caught up to Stardust, and as you guys know, we passed him on at the beginning there. He didn't have the best of races there, so we ended up passing him. He was on old mediums, I believe. And then moving on to a couple of laps now, we come up to AMS Matthew, the person who ended up overtaking me in Australia and caused me to spin out because I ended up going wide. We overtake him. He was also on hard mediums. And then we've got the Red Bull in front of us now. The reason why he was so close was because he ended up spinning out, but you guys can see that even after spinning out, his pace compared to mine on the soft tires, he was pretty quick, so I was struggling to keep up with him. But moving on to the final lap now, I believe, and we're still in 11th place, and coming up to the first corner, I believe there's a yellow flag in either, I think there's a yellow flag coming up. Somebody ends up spinning out as we almost spin out. Actually, my heart basically jumped out of my body there when that happened. But yeah, there's a yellow flag here. Someone ends up spinning, and I think we end up getting a puncture from somebody as well later on in the lap. So a lot of people were struggling on the tires now that they were coming up to the final lap. There's a lot of tire wear when it comes to this track. I believe in ORL, Josh Adoru, he ended up getting a puncture on the final straight, which would have actually given him the win as well. So a bit of a shame for him, but obviously when it comes to Bahrain, the tire wear is super high, it's really hot, there's a lot of aggressive curbs, and as you can see, I think this is the Haas here, he ended up getting a tire puncture, which actually promoted us into P10. So at the moment, we're going to be finishing in P10. However, there's 6 seconds worth of penalties that we still have. There's some stupid mistakes I ended up making during the race, and I ended up getting 6 seconds worth of penalties, which around Bahrain is pretty bad. You don't want to be getting a lot of penalties because people tend not to get penalties around here. And again, as I said in the previous race, it's something I've got to work on. I can't be getting as much penalties as I am because it's causing me positions. We ended up getting a single point here, but because of my 6 second time penalty, we ended up getting moved down to P11, and that's pretty much how things went. That's how the race finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys here. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and stick around by subscribing to the channel. It was a pretty poor result, but P17 to P10 on track, P11 after the penalties. I guess it's not that bad, but at the same time, it's not points. As I said on Twitter, my pace was abysmal on the hards, and I feel as if that's what costed me. I could have easily gained another couple of points if I had just had decent pace on those hard tires. So I'm going to leave you guys here. I'll see you guys in the next video.